Really good to see you. Thanks for joining us. We'll just wait a minute for a couple of people to join and we'll rip into it. Of course, we'll be posting this. And just off camera, right in that direction, we have the beautiful Unita, who's also part of the MFM team. And, wow. And tonight we have I think we have a really interesting conversation to
quite
have.
interesting.
That's
and real.
Yeah, very real. That we promise we're going to be very real.
Real and blunt.
And
things people avoid.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Do you think people do avoid it?
Yeah, most of it people avoid it.
Why do they avoid talking about men, women, boy, girl, relationships? Why? Why do they avoid
I think it's because it's a taboo in most African homes, you know. Like, personally, I'm 22, but still at my home, I wouldn't talk about men and boys. Around my parents, it's quite wrong. So I think that's why we avoid it so much.
You used an interesting word just then, quite wrong. You mean wrong, you don't think it's wrong?
I don't think it's wrong.
No, but I guess what you're saying is Kenyan parents think it's wrong to talk about such a...
You cannot talk about that. You cannot talk about that.
What's amazing is that we're saying that we can't talk about the most important decision of our life, which is relationships with, and eventually who we choose as a partner.
Yeah.
So we're not allowed. Sorry, if I'm not being too tough. So we're not allowed to talk about the most important relationship in our life.
Yeah.
Is that true?
With a partner, you'll spend probably the rest of your life.
Well, hopefully the rest of your life. Yeah.
Yes.
That sort of is the concept of marriage. That's what it's there for.
Yeah.
So look, we're going to get started. It's Michael Flynn, mentor here. Thank you very much for joining once again, Relationship Wednesday. Very exciting, and I'm very, very excited at a landmark moment. This is the first time that I get the delight and honour of introducing my partner. Well, not my partner, but well, anyway. And Ciku Wainaina, it's such an honour and a pleasure to have you on the MFM team. And to see you now getting to a point where you have grown so immensely, so fast, and here you are presenting last night. You did a fabulous interview, which we're going to post tomorrow with Honourable
Priscilla Nyokabi.
Yeah, that was very, very cool. Very well done.
Thank you very much.
And tonight, you and I are going to talk about relationships. So welcome, Ciku Wainaina.
Thank you. I'm so excited and really happy that I'm growing really fast. So I would of course grow really fast, given that I have a mentor like you. I must say Mike is very great. He's really honest and genuine about helping young people to grow and become a better version of themselves. He's always pushing me to be better than I was every second. Like, it is 7:59.40. At 7:59.42, you should be better than the second that just passed. And I must say, it's very wonderful working with you. Thank you very much. And I'm looking forward to do much more, which I know I will grow a lot more with you.
You will, and you're an amazingly intelligent, gifted young woman. Really proud of you. Really great to work with you. And it's great to work with young people. Please let us know by inbox if you would like to join the team. We're very selective. We can't take, a lot of people ask, we can't take everybody. But if you're super bright, willing to learn, and really want to contribute, give us a shout. We're physically based in Mombasa. I come to Nairobi a lot. Ciku moves between both locations, and off camera right now is a lovely person called Unita. So let's get started. What are we talking about tonight?
Well,
the boy-girl conversation.
Yes, the boy-girl conversation, which is actually very important because given like an advice from an elder person, an elder male figure, a father-daughter kind of relationship. Yeah, because this is something that we African women mostly don't get because our parents avoid that topic. So we never get to discuss that with our parents. And this is a very good chance and opportunity to actually discuss it here at this platform. So, and it brings me down to most women have a really low self-esteem because there's no one telling them that, oh, you're beautiful, you're perfect, and we end up always finding faults in ourselves. What do you think about that?
Oh, wow. You've really gone straight for it, haven't you? What is it that makes women insecure, I don't know. And the truth is, I know that all women have some sort of insecurity. And here's an example of that. Every woman picks on herself about something that isn't right about her body, for example, Ciku.
Yeah.
I've been blessed and honoured in my life to be with some fabulous looking women. And yet, you know, behind the scenes it'll be like, yeah, but, you know, my calf muscles are a little bit big, or, you know, but I've got this bit on my arm that isn't quite right. And women are terribly tough on themselves.
Yes.
Way more tough than men are. And if only you knew that no matter what shape you women are, there's some guy out there that's his thing. That's the thing he's into. And women, stop being so tough on yourself. That'd be my message to a young daughter. Don't be tough on yourself. You are beautiful. Be who you are. And whether you've got a big butt or a small butt or big, you know, or small, it doesn't matter. Somebody's looking at you going, wow, that is my thing.
Well, that is quite interesting, because you're always like, I'm too short, I'm too tall, I'm too this, I'm too that. And so that brings me down to, you say that men out there thinking that is my thing. Do men specifically have a specific kind of liking to physique, women physique?
Do they ever? Can I tell you a funny story?
Oh, yeah, you can.
I was on a fishing trip with a guy in Sydney, Australia, many years ago. Now, for everybody watching, what's amusing about this is this guy was incredibly skinny guy, like shaped like a bean, right?
Raw.
So we're out fishing, and you know, as two men, right? And he says, you know, I'm into big women, and I said, yeah, I'm cool, man. He said, no, man, like I'm into like really big women. And I could tell he wanted me to be curious. So I said to him, how big are we talking about, man? He said, well, I'll give you an example, man. If I was at a party and there was an 80-kilo woman in front of me, and yet behind her was her 110-kilo friend, I'd push everybody out of the way to get to that big one at the back.
Wow.
And man, it's not just that. I would be even more excited if she was like 6 foot tall or 6'2". A real Amazon. And then he went like this. He said, man, the idea of, you know, that one, and I'm holding it, and like my hands are out here. And he was incredibly turned on by this. Yeah. And he was this very
Wow.
So it doesn't matter. That's his thing. Huge. I like them huge, he said to me. So there you go.
Oh, so every man has his own thing.
Doesn't matter what you women are, somebody's into you.
Wow. So since every man has his thing with women, so how come that after you've gotten this woman that you really like, you know, she's tall, she's this, she's short, she's big, she's small, why do you go ahead after you've gotten into a relationship? Why do you go ahead and cheat? Are we never enough for you? Is one woman never enough?
Really good question. It's probably the one that's most commonly asked, but you know, let's take a level view of it, right? So let's start with 2 points. Let's be honest.
Okay.
Do you think women ever cheat?
Yes, of course. I don't think I know.
So why don't we also degenderize that little bit and just say, okay, let's be honest. Humans do human things.
Yes.
The statistics in the West are that more men cheat than women, but probably 40-50% of people cheat at some time during a marriage. So let's be honest, it's not a uniquely male thing, but men tend to do it more. Then we should always remember, some is not all. And the majority of men, at least in the West, do not cheat. And I can assure you that not every man is a cheater. It's just not true. Like every woman is not a cheater. But now to answer the question that you asked, I think if we go back to Kitambo Sana, I think that men are incredibly driven by a drug called testosterone.
Yes, true.
I think deep river inside is we want to populate the world. I think men kind of, you know, the gene pool. Did you know that 1 to 2% of the entire population of the world has the genes of one man?
What?
Yeah, this is true.
Wow, this is so
and
interesting.
yeah, it's true. And if you go to Mongolia, and the countries just towards Europe from Mongolia, 20% of the population are traced back to Genghis Khan,
Whoa.
who invaded so many countries and obviously did the deed, right? That seriously, 20% of the Mongolian population has his genes. So men, if they can, will be incredibly promiscuous. But men are not animals. And whilst driven to do that, that doesn't mean that every drive has to be fulfilled. Why do men do it? Men do it because they can. And in a society like Kenya that, is it fair to say, sanctions it? Well, we were talking about this afternoon. For example, Chico, in the West, that is not cool. So if I told my friends in Sydney, for example, that I was having an affair and I'm married, they wouldn't think that was cool. They would go, oh, dude, really? Oh, that's not a good idea, man. And the idea of me bringing that woman in front of them would be a no-no. They go, no, man, no, I don't want to meet her. No. So I think that also society and where it's at. Now, if you go back 100 years ago in Australia, for example, it was exactly the same as Kenya. Men did what they wanted to do. It was cool. I can do what I like.
Yeah.
It's just socially not accepted anymore in a liberated society.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's interesting. So, how do you get to know that a man is interested or is into you?
Oh, great question. Chico, are you ready for a bit of a tough answer?
Breathe in.
Breathe in. And
now I'm ready.
Okay, the answer is if he's not chasing, he's not into you. Men, look, men are driven to chase, and men desire women. You know this.
Yeah.
And what is said is that women desire to be desired.
Yeah.
You see there's a difference there, right?
Yeah.
So let me tell you, all you young women who might be listening, if he's not chasing, he's not into you. It's as simple as that. And
as simple as it is.
If you're asking your friends or going online and saying, oh, is he into me? He's not. Because if he's into you, you know. You know. And the other way to tell if he's into you, look, let's be honest about relationships.
Okay.
If the relationship is he comes over on Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock, smashes it, and he's gone at 5 to 4, I got news for you. He's playing the game of opportunistic sex. But Chico, men think like that. If you invite him to your home, his male-driven mind says, oh, well, she's letting me in. You know what I mean? Like in the home means, well, that's what she's agreeing to. And she's in control of that. You decide whether you want to accept that. And there's nothing wrong if a young woman wants to have fun and that's her choice. That's fine. Why not? Okay?
Wow.
But let's not delude ourselves that that's a relationship when he's come round, smashed and left. So how do you know? When there's trust,
There's trust, respect and communication.
Absolutely. That's a relationship, isn't it?
And so how do you draw the line, being a young woman who maybe not experienced, how do you draw the line between a man who is genuinely interested and a man who just is there for the sexual pleasure?
Oh, it's actually kind of really obvious when he wants to communicate with you, when he listens, if the quality of his listening and his respect of your ideas, the respect of you as a person, and even respect of differences. Where in a great, healthy relationship, it's possible to say, actually, I don't agree with you, but that's okay. That's okay. We can agree to have a different, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't order food for you, and he doesn't order you around. How does he treat you?
Wow. Okay. So now, okay, you're pretty good with the reading the body language, yeah? Well, given your great neuro-linguistic programming training, you're wonderful and you're great when it comes to reading body language, reading people, connecting with people. So you obviously know when someone is happy or when a lady is into you, because you're great at this. He's just wonderful. I'm always amazed by just how he reads people. Someone walks in the room and is like, that man is very angry. And I'm like, how did you do that? So, and you're committed to training even young people how to do this, and it's a very wonderful thing. It's incredible. So
very important skill, Ciku.
yeah. When it comes to
Connect
connecting
with people,
people and creating networks, even in the corporate world, and even in now relationships. That's what you're discussing.
Building connections and sure.
Yeah. So now, we're not talking about you now because you're too smart, so we cannot put you in this because we know you can read human body language. Now, for other men, do they easily read women body language?
Oh, no, they do not. Men are hopeless at reading women's signals. And it's true. Here's a couple of reasons why. For a start, his peripheral vision is nowhere near. Have you ever noticed that you can catch a man looking at you?
Yes.
But he can't catch you looking at him.
No.
And women are... What?
How would he catch me looking at him?
Well, yeah, you see, you're so confident because women know you're much quicker. True?
Yes.
So that's because your peripheral vision is vastly superior to men's, and your reaction, your brain speed is actually vastly better, and your memory is vastly better, by the way, of particularly of detail. So the truth is that he cannot usually read your signals, and which is the reason why he thinks he makes the first move, and women always know that she makes the first move.
Yeah,
and women always know that, but men always think, it was me that went, and I went over there, and I knew what to do, and I won her. And the woman is like, took you long enough, didn't it?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it can be also frustrating being a woman because you're trying to get a guy's attention, and it can be like, what have I got to do to get this guy's attention? So that can be kind of unsettling for you.
Wow. So probably, guys, you should actually take up the course, the training in the reading the human body language. You're doing it next week on Thursday.
We're doing it. You're doing it with me.
Yes, we're doing it next week on Thursday, and you need this skill. It's going to help you so much in the relationship. I wouldn't want to be left out in my own relationship.
It's also how to make business connections, and as you know, and how to get people in business to immediately feel connected to you, and how to raise money, and how to get that feeling of, yes, I like this person and I want to do business with them.
Yeah, because success is like a we game, not a me game. So I need people around me. I need connections. I need networks.
Yeah.
And it's very important. We'll probably talk about that at the end of the interview today.
Okay.
So now we've found you found a boyfriend, and here you are. You're having a very good man in your life. How then do you know that a certain woman or a certain man is good for marriage?
Wow. Role models? Truthfully and honestly, the best way to choose a role model is to look at the family of origin. Look, we marry our mothers.
Yeah.
Or we marry our fathers.
Very true.
Okay? So if you really want to have a rational sense of what is a long-term significance, what's the long-term prognosis for this relationship, take a look at the family. Take a look at the family that person comes from. Take a look at how they operate. And you will learn a very great deal of what has created, because our role models, remember, we grow up and the only male figure and only female figure we see is what is mirrored in our homes. And that's at an age when we have no filtering mechanism, we have no way of questioning it.
Yeah,
true. We're just living, what we see is what we learn to do.
True.
So how that father treats women becomes the soundtrack and the expectation of that child, who then goes into the next relationship. How that woman behaves around men and how power moves in that home becomes the role model and for the future. And I'll give you an idea of how deep that river goes, and we're very open, so I'll tell you, we've shared this before anyway. When I was a kid, I grew up in an alcoholic home. My father was a very alcohol, gambling kind of guy, not usually at home, pretty much never there. And he was really into women. He was cheating all over the place. And I really didn't like that, and I swore that I wouldn't be like him. And when things got my late teens going into 20s, I had this mental picture of a white picket fence. I'm going to meet a fabulous girl. I will settle down. We will buy a house. And it'll all be just lovely. That was my mental construct. And in no time flat, by the time I was 25 and onwards, I had become my father. And by the time I was 30, I was my father. And I really hated me because I saw what I was doing. And I was like, what's gone wrong here? Why the mental idea of a picket fence, and what I'm actually doing is living my father's life? And that took a lot of undoing. And it's not that you can't change the script of my or your or anybody's dysfunctional family. It's that you have to get conscious of it and do some work on it, because you're going to have to change. You can change, but you've got to want to change.
True. And that is quite interesting, because I can actually relate it to how I have been raised and how a number of my friends, my girlfriends, have been raised in the notion of submission. Submission to a man, and submission to our African mothers and most older African women who have raised us, is that you should, just be oppressed by a man and be okay with it, because somehow it's always your fault. Because you talked and said the wrong thing, because you should have just kept your mouth shut. So why are you talking back to him? And it's something that it just goes on and on, because we just allow it, and it's because of how we've been brought up, and it's really hard to be able to just get out of it and decide, no, I can't allow this to happen to me.
I mean, what is this submission thing? What does that mean? Like, you should shut up and not speak your mind?
Yeah, I can give a very good example.
Yeah, do.
I was staying with a certain friend of mine, a couple, and I was just looking at how they were living. And at the middle of dinner, the husband would just tell the wife, go make me some tea.
That's a joke.
So, yeah, she would leave her food, go make some tea for him, or go get me some water. So she would leave her food there, and go and get water for him. Wow. So you can imagine the whole, he can't just get up.
Can't get up and get a glass of water for himself.
Yes.
The woman's got to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And the whole idea of, you have to serve your husband, you have to wash, do the washing for him, do the cleaning for him. Otherwise, he will leave and go to the house girl who's doing that for him.
Even if she's 120 kilos and 20 years older than him?
Who cares? He's taking care of him.
Oh, come on. That's crazy.
Yes. And so you're like, oh, I need to submit, I need to shut up. So you'll even find that even in a relationship, just a normal relationship, not marriage, girls are being oppressed, and you're still too young at 20 in the university, and your boyfriend is beating you up and oppressing you, and you still stay. Because you're thinking, oh, I'm the one who's wrong, I should have kept quiet, or I should have never suggested this. So it just translates down to us, and most people just stay with it and they don't get out of it.
Why would a woman want to live like that?
Well, and now that one is kind of related to, if he leaves you, if I don't submit to you, for example, if I'm married to you, Michael, and I don't submit to you, and I don't do everything that you want me to do for you, I don't shut up when you give suggestions, I don't serve you, I don't do your cleaning. If you leave me, I'll be left alone. And to most people in our society, a woman who's not married is useless.
Ciku, it doesn't sound like submission, it sounds like oppression.
Yeah, that's the best word. It's oppression, it's more of oppression.
Right. See, the idea that because the man has a penis, he's smarter than a woman is just ridiculous. The idea that because it's a female body, which is slightly different to a male body, therefore there's something different about her brain, that she has to have less opinions or less brilliance. There's something just fatally wrong with the logic there.
Yeah.
Here's another common one. Beautiful women are not very smart.
Who said that?
Yeah. And the fact is, you're extremely bright. What did you come, 46th in the country or something when you did your exams?
Yeah.
You're studying aeronautical. What are you going to do? Build spaceships or something?
Rockets.
Probably the first Kenyan woman, probably the first woman on Mars here, you know, or something like that. No, really, Ciku, it's just a crazy notion that beauty and brains are somehow mutually exclusive, or that gender, because that's just really about power,
True.
right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to pick up on something you said in African, or I think you mentioned in African culture.
Yeah.
There's nothing African about that, Ciku. Nothing
Really?
African about. No, it's not. That's not true.
But you don't face that.
No, hang on. We're just talking about the truth here.
Mm-hmm.
If you go into Australia or the UK or any of those sort of places, and you go back in time,
Mm-hmm.
you will find exactly the same attitudes. There's nothing African about that sort of mistreatment of women and your places in the home. You go back to advertising in 1950s America and you'll find this sort of, are you keeping him happy when he comes home? Do you have his slippers ready? And you know,
Yeah,
and he could comment on your breasts in the office in 1952 and, well, run along, dear, and get me a cup of tea while you're at it and all this stuff. So it's nothing unique. It's about inappropriate male domination of females. What's wrong with that is that it holds our society back. Because, Ciku, you're letting the tyres down on half of the car. You're disempowering half of the society. And women develop countries quicker than men.
True. And we make men really up their game.
You sure do. You
Yes.
sure do.
Because
You
we
sure
don't
do.
like being defeated. So
But what about, let me delve into you and your friends, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm listening to what you're saying, you feel basically a pressure to agree to be what you're calling submissive, what we're reframing as oppressed, because if you don't do that, you won't be married by the time. What age are you expected to be married?
I think at least at my home it's I think 26, 27.
Right.
Yeah, for most people it's 26 onwards. 26, 27, 28. It hits to
Right.
30 and everyone is like, whoosh, what is wrong with you?
What is wrong with you?
And
Okay.
there's this question in Kiswahili, who let him to? And to bring.
Nimesikia, nimelewa. Lakini iko na shida na unafikiri kama hiyo. No, it doesn't make any sense. Because what it's saying is that without a man, a woman is nothing.
Yeah, I've been told before that, oh, you can be successful, you can do whatever you want in this world, you can have all the money. But without a man, Ciku, you'd be very useless. I have been told
Useless?
that. Yes, I've been told that by like 3 people.
Okay, so the logic there is that unless you have a man, you are of, just to turn that around, you are of no use in society.
Yeah, you're not important to society. You just, we can't regard you as anything.
Does anyone really believe that?
I don't believe that.
So God made you, but you're useless unless you have a man.
And I was made independently, so.
And what about the other way? Is a man useless if he's not married at 30?
No, it's very
Oh,
okay.
of course
No,
not. He's okay.
it's just crazy. And oh, I just have to mention this.
What?
I wonder why women are termed to be useless when they don't have a man, and a man is just.
Well, maybe they don't want
it's
one.
okay. It's okay for a man to be single. You know, he is fine. He's fine. He's looking for money. It's fine. But I can't do the same. And I had a very interesting conversation the other day with your daughter, 8-year-old Sienna. And she just asked me, Ciku, why is it that the human race is referred to as mankind? Don't you think it should be womankind? Because the woman does everything. She gives birth to the kids. She does the cleaning, takes care of the home. Well, probably daddy does some of the a little bit of the cleaning, but I don't think most men do that. And the only thing men do is just go outside and look for money and go to work, which pretty much women do. So I think it should be womankind. Yeah.
That's my 8-year-old daughter.
And I told her, you know what, baby girl? From now on, it's womankind. Because no one said, it's not written anyway, it must be mankind. So from now on, for Sienna and me, we don't have mankind, it's womankind.
So what that's saying is that at 8 years old, she's clocking all of that.
Yeah, and she's aware of it.
She's aware of it.
Yes.
And she's asking questions to try to make sense.
Yes, because it didn't make sense to her either.
So she's studying power.
Yes.
Why is it called mankind,
And not
while what I
womankind.
see is women doing all this extraordinary service to
And
humanity?
there's a society somewhere
Great
trying
question.
to make out women are useless without men.
Well, I mean, but that's obviously a crazy way to think,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, isn't it?
Yeah, that is very
How can
crazy.
anybody declare a human being
Mm.
made by God as useless? You just don't have a right to say that. That you just can't. You can't say that. You can't go to church and say that. You can't. No, you can't. You can't. God made you, didn't He?
But also, okay, yeah.
Is that true?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Anyway, and moving on to, so we have the relationships and mentors, and now, we all know you're not useless and you're very important.
Of course.
Whether with a man or without a man, you're important. You're your own person, yes.
And there's no requirement. If a man is not treating a woman like a queen, then he's not a king. There's no need for an entire new generation of Kenyans to agree to be stepped on and told and ordered for at the table. I've seen that in Kenya a lot, where he just sits down and starts ordering for her, and she'll have fish, like as if she can't look at the menu and make her own mind up what she wants to eat. Hey, treat her like a queen, and trust me, you'll get one. Women have an amazing capacity, men, to love. Isn't it true?
True.
You just have to because women are so driven by connection and relationship, whereas men, we know, are driven by things very, very different. Hey, listen here, you know what? I know that women get frustrated about this, so I'm going to ask you.
Okay. Uh-huh.
What frustrates women most about men? And I'm going to load the gun a little bit and point it in your direction. Don't you reckon women expect men to be women?
Yes.
Whoa. Whoa.
I was kind of, maybe I was avoiding that question, but why can't men just behave like women? I mean, I want him to be emotional like I am. Why wouldn't he be like me? Why wouldn't he be what I want him to be?
You mean talk about his feelings and share?
Yeah, when you come and you're angry, I need you to share what is wrong, what is happening. When you're sad, what is happening? Let's cry together. Why wouldn't you do that?
Because we don't. Because we're not women, we're men. And it's not about anything other than we deal with stress different to how you do. And when women set themselves up for, I want him to be, which is basically emotional, communicable, talk about your feelings, that's the opposite of how men deal with stress. So how do men deal with stress when they're together? Oh man, I've got some crap at home. Yeah, what have you done now, man? Well, I was sitting on the sofa this morning and I don't know, she's really moody with me, and I just said, what's the matter, dear? And she says, I'm all right. And the other guy go, you're in real big shit when you get home, mate. You're in trouble. And that's it. And then they go on to the next thing. So we kind of just make a joke of it.
And just move on.
And move on.
Wow.
Because to us, it's just not a big deal.
But I think that's where the problem comes in. Because when we're sitting as girlfriends, and maybe if my girlfriend calls me and she's like, Ciku, I need to talk to you. I am in trouble. There's a problem in my relationship. And I'm like, where do you want us to meet? Okay, Garden City, Java. Okay, fine. Let's just meet there. We're expecting to go through the problem. The whole agenda of the meeting is to discuss your problem. Go through it. Probably come up with a solution. Just talk about it, cry, and then go back home, and then
because women are into relationships. So from a woman's point of view, we're understood. Women want to share. Women want to connect, and it's very gorgeous and very beautiful. And I must say, as men age and soften, that's very true. But talk about less than 35 or 40. It's like what? So it's not going to work if she's going to constantly expect him to do what she does because he doesn't have the same need. It's like him saying, well, why can't you get down and fix the car and get under there and get the oil all over you, and how about we go and play cricket later?
Well, I can do that because I'm an engineer, but...
You're such a smarty pants, Ciku.
I can get another car and make it. It's okay.
Oh, okay. Bad example.
But as long
of
as
course,
you,
not you though, shit.
as long as you give me the money to give
Oh.
the mechanic, it's okay. Yeah, it's fine. You pay me? Fine.
Okay. That didn't really work, did it?
But yeah, I do get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you expect him to be the plumber, to be the mechanic, to be every electrician.
I think there are preferred jobs or things that we like to do. To any men who might be watching, let her run the house, stay the hell out of running the house. What I've learned, what I've learned over the years, let the woman run the house. Just stay out of that. She's going to choose the picture of the curtains and the beds, and let her run the home.
True.
The whole idea of a woman, I mean a man, the worst place, going to the kitchen and start deciding where things should be. And
Remove the pots here and put them here.
Stop it. You will not have a happy home if you try to compete with her in the home. So there is some sort of gender bias on function and stuff like that, right?
Yes.
So that's another thing to communicate, and all women are like that. I mean, I think it's important for both genders to understand each other and how they operate.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, men don't operate like women. Please, women, stop expecting us to operate like women. So women get really bent out of shape when he hasn't carried the dustbin out, or, I asked him to do that on Tuesday and he hasn't done it.
He hasn't cleared the table after eating.
Yeah, okay, fine. And, maybe he really ought to. And there's a balance.
Yeah.
And, I clear up because I don't think, it's egalitarian. But there's also a lot of things that wind women up about men behaviour and this is the fatal thing that women can say. If he loved me, he'd, right?
Yeah, true.
And that's because you're so driven by a relationship, you take things into the relationship. And to him it's like, what?
Not a big deal.
I don't even care. What do you mean? It's got nothing to do with whether I love you or not. I just forgot to put the rubbish out.
Yeah.
You hear it, but women can get quite impacted by that. So on the positive side, men, do small things for her and she will really jazz it up for you. You can get a long way with small things with women, true?
True.
Let me ask you a question. Men, if I'm walking to your home and I pick a flower from a garden and give it to you, does it turn you on? Yeah.
Yeah, it means you're thinking about
It
me.
means so anything you do that's about I was thinking of you, doesn't it hit a woman?
Yeah,
right?
it's like, oh my God, this is wonderful.
That's
He's
right.
Thinking
That's
about
right.
me.
That's right. That's
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
So men, simple things. Pick a flower, just a simple thing. Just a text. Morning, haven't got time to talk. Wanted to tell you I care about you or I love you. And she's like, oh wow. Can't talk today, baby. So busy, but I love you. Oh my God, he thought of me.
How wonderful.
Simple things can
Yeah.
really impact women
True.
in a big way. True.
Very true. And so now, moving on to relationships. Okay, sometimes you just have to kind of lie to protect yourself in a relationship. Well, we know it's wrong. But what is your take on lying in relationships?
Listen to that one. Did you hear what you just tried to convince me of? You wait for it. You poor thing. I have to lie to protect myself. So is it the truth of the matter that we're frightened, we're terrified of intimacy?
Intimacy is so frightening at times.
But
so
for both
scary.
parties, it's frightening. Vulnerability, Ciku.
Yeah.
Openness. I might. The truth about me comes out. Feelings, emotions, things that I can't control, things that don't need to be fixed. And that territory is so immensely connecting between two individuals, but it's so revealing. What do you got to lose? Take a chance. Take a chance on being vulnerable. It really is worth it. And it's that part of being human that's so rewarding and so connecting between two people. So, no, you don't have to protect yourself or defend yourself. And lies, oh man. Have you ever told any lies in a relationship? Hands up if you told any lies. And she wants to end now. What, did you just about to say this session needs to end now?
It reminded me of a time when I lied I lied to my boyfriend then. So after I lied, he asked me the same question. After I don't know how long, but I had forgotten. So I was like, so what did I tell him? So I ended up saying a different answer, and he was like, last week you said this, and I was like, oh, the whole confusion.
Yeah.
So I decided, okay, I'll just in my head I'm thinking, I'll go buy a notebook where I'll be writing down all the lies. I'll be writing down every lie I tell him. So if I tell him a lie on Friday on this date 20 whatever, I told him this and this, so that next time when he asks, I have the lie written down, Well, I didn't really buy a book, but I used to read on my phone now, and in the notes, I put down the lies.
you would write your lies in the phone.
Yes, I'm the worst. I am the worst liar. I forget my lies, so I had to put them down and not forget them. And then, like, shortly after, my phone was stolen.
Oh.
All the lies have gone.
Do you think a bit of karma caught up with you there, Ciku?
I think so.
You lied your way all the way into a Muzzi's hands. What do you know? But isn't it terrible? No, on a serious note, and humans in our lives. And what's so ridiculous is that we actually think the other person can't sort of smell it, feel it, and sense it, and because it has a feeling about it. And I used to tell lies, and in relationships, which I don't anymore. And they're just awful because you're constantly carrying this lie on your mind. So on Tuesday, you've decided to hook up with someone else on Saturday and you don't want your partner to know. So all the way from Tuesday to Saturday, you've got this weight on your shoulders of how are you going to get out of the house and what are you going to tell her? And then when you come back to the house, will she know where you've been? And it's a terrible way to live, isn't it? It's like carrying a weight of dirty rocks on your back or something.
And then after that, you have a weight of, I hope I don't get caught. I just hope he doesn't know. I hope he didn't know.
And people wonder why their relationships are not working.
Yeah,
because we've so trust, connection,
and communication
is not there. Because there's this veil of sort of, you're not in a relationship with me, you're in a relationship with lies and distance between us. It can't work.
Yeah, and communication and connection is actually very important.
Because, the whole point.
In the today generation, probably it's not work. It didn't work for you guys the same. Today you'd be talking to someone, you'd be even together, but everyone's on their phone just going, yes, okay, what?
Oh, yeah.
And it's very annoying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, you spent maybe a whole day together, but didn't connect, didn't communicate, just one word. All of you are on your phones.
A relationship with the top of someone's head, basically. So now you're in a marriage or and I've seen that. I've seen that in cafes. I've seen men turn up at a cafe with the woman, and I've seen this. Is this common? Where the woman is sitting there and the man's got his head down on the phone. He doesn't even speak to her. And I'm like, what on earth is she doing there? What pleasure is there in that for anybody? My daughters picked me up on that 2 years ago and said, Dad, we don't like you being on the phone. So I started going out to a restaurant or out to the beach or just for a walk, and don't take the phone.
Sure.
And I would say, Ciku, if you want to have a great relationship, have at least one night a week where you say, no phones tonight. Like Wednesday night, no phones, okay?
Yeah.
Or we go out to have Sunday walk or whatever you guys are into doing. Let's leave the phones behind. Let's turn them off for 2 hours. Let's be together.
Yeah, that's quite very important. Sometime back, let me say, before I started working with you, I was really addicted to my phone. I would always have my phone in my hand. I'd be working, but I'll just get distracted to chat back to someone who just chatted me. But right now, I kind of disconnected to my phone, and I can stay for a whole week without it. It is just wonderful working with you. I just learned that from you, and right now it's in me. I would go for a whole day without looking at my phone. And right now my policy is, if you really need to contact me, it's really, really important, just call me.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because I can't keep on looking at my WhatsApp waiting for you to send an emergency message. It doesn't work.
That's also about starting to live your life on purpose.
Yeah.
And when your purpose takes over, your trivia gets pushed out of your life.
And you're also present in every moment of your life.
Because you're really on your goals, what you really want,
Sure.
the quality of your relationships, as we're talking about relationship, and your purpose, what you're here to do. It's a precious short life.
Mhm.
There's not much time for lies, and there's not much time for losing it and,
True.
and trivia.
Yeah. So I'm really sad we may be coming to an end. But before we wind up, what are the core things that build a perfect... Okay, we know there's no perfect relationship. There's no relationship that looks like the one we always imagine, the Disneyland and the Wonderland. There's no such. But what core values are based in a very good relationship?
That's a wonderful point you just made. First of all, don't expect a perfect relationship. There's a line in a song that goes, "When happily ever after fails, we've been poisoned by that fairy tale."
Oh, yeah.
The happily ever after is a fairy tale. That is a ridiculous idea.
Uh-huh.
And if we go into a relationship with massive expectations, we've just put in huge amount of pressure on the other person. First key to a great relationship, why don't we talk to each other about what we expect? Why don't you tell me? I say to you, okay, what do you expect from me as a husband? If we're getting to that far, if that's right. And you say, okay, what do you expect of me as a wife? And that's a really intelligent and helpful conversation to have, because you can make your mind up at that stage. Hey, we got some work to do here in the communication department because we've got different ideas. So don't expect perfection. Secondly, how mad is it for you to expect me to make you happy? Wow, what an enormous pressure.
I expect you to complete me and make me happy and make me
Complete
feel
you?
respected.
I don't even know how to complete you. What does that even mean? How am I going to complete you? What do you want me to do to complete you? I don't know how to do that. But what I do know is I do know how to take care of me for me.
Yeah.
And be the very best I can be, and be present and honest in a relationship, and then bring that back to you. And what about you? If
Well, for me, it's honesty. Honesty just is like everything for me. Communication and connection. Because if there's no communication, there's no connection. And respect.
Yeah, those are the big words, aren't they? Communication, respect, connection.
Yeah.
And honesty is so incredibly important.
Honesty is actually sexy.
It is, and men, I don't think men really realise just how much women value honesty. And men, I'm here to tell you something. You can get everything you want by being honest with women. Women are really turned on by it. It's true, isn't it?
True.
Women are really turned on. Tell her what you really want. If you're seeing somebody else, tell her. If just don't do that. Just come straight out with, I am this is what I want, I'm hoping that, and if you're respectful and honest, you'll probably get it. Is that true?
True.
Whether it's a long-term relationship or a short-term or a little arrangement you're trying to create with somebody, no judgment. Because women love that, don't they?
Yeah,
It really
we do love
takes them on,
honesty.
yeah.
It's really nice. You just feel this is
Secure.
wonderful. Yeah.
Two things women want to feel is secure and safe.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. So the moment you're truthful, it's very easy to, be secure with you, and I'm like, it's okay. But once you tell one lie, it's over. I'll never trust you again. It's very hard to trust someone who's been giving you lies and being dishonest always.
Yeah, it really gets into women, that one. It really does. Well, all people.
Yeah, it hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have come to the end of our discussion today, but it was really interesting. I hope you guys learned a lot. And going down to the body language, this body language is really, really, really turning me on, if I'm allowed to say that. Because, well, I'd love to be like you, Michael. Just look at people and go, he's sad. Anyway, you'd love to...
And more especially make connection with people.
Yes.
That's the real power.
You'd love to make connections, build your networks, have power, know how to, play around with power, and know how to look at people and know if they like you. People tend to give favors to people they like.
Oh, yeah.
So if you can be able to play around with the reading body language thing,
If you
and
can read people
and influence them to
and
actually
influence them,
like
yeah,
you,
that's right.
it would just be a great added advantage to you, because this is what every great leader does.
People need this.
Yeah. A great leader will just stand in front of a crowd, but each and every person will feel, oh, I connect to him, and yet we are thousands of us.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So it's a very important tool,
Mm.
and I'd urge you guys to actually register and be part of it next week on Thursday.
What's it called?
The new science of body language.
New Science of Body Language
Yeah.
webinar.
Trust me, you don't want to miss this.
You do not want to miss this.
From 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. And you can leave your emails at the comments below. Then we will inbox you with a very special offer.
Yeah, because you tuned into this, we'll make a very, very
Yes.
special offer to you on the price of that webinar.
Yeah.
Uh,
And it's pretty obvious you want to grow and become better in every aspect of your life.
and
That's
this
why
is
you
how
tuned
do it.
in today.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
exactly it. Hey, it's really, really fun.
Yeah,
Really,
it is wonderful. I love this. I'm acing my next relationship. Well, I'm single, but the next one I'm acing it.
I'm sure that'll be anytime you're ready, buddy. Anytime you're
Yes, the
ready.
next one I'm just acing it. I'm gonna be the best.
I'm single too.
We're acing our next ones, right?
Are we really? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Pie.
Wonderful. So thank you very much, guys, for joining us. Drop your emails below, and I'll contact you with great offers for the webinar next week. And let's see you in the new Science of Body Language. Have a wonderful time.
See you. Been great
See
to
you.
be with you. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.